We're just going to go over the road from John there to Waterford, because earlier in the programme we spoke with Owen Burke-Kennedy, who's economics correspondent with the Irish Times, about the latest CSO figures out today, which show house prices are rising nationally at an annual rate of almost 10%. The average cost of a house now in Dublin is over €600,000, and nationally the average price is about €430,000. Now we're talking to Regina Mangan, who's Managing Director of Liberty Blue Estate Agents in Waterford, to talk about the case nationally. Regina, you're very welcome.
Good evening, Cormac. Good evening, listeners.
Did that surprise you at all? The average cost, Dublin first of all, the average cost of a house, over €600,000?
No surprise at all. And in terms of price hikes, we're seeing that across the country, and that's the information that the Institute of Auctioneers and Valuers are getting as well. This is the experience of agents in most counties in the country.
Really, it feels like a bit of a milestone, Regina, when it crosses over €600,000. It kind of stings.
Well, the good news is, if anybody wants to buy a house in the region of 300,000, you can buy two in Waterford for the price of one in Dublin. But Dublin is a very different market to the rest of the country. You know, we're talking about price increases, and we've seen in Waterford over asking prices anything from 3.4% to 22% over asking. But it's all it's very, very different. It's not a one size fits all. The key driver in Dublin is obviously you've higher jobs, higher paid jobs. You have bigger homes, more expensive homes. In Waterford, if the average salary is in the 30,000 bracket, well, the average borrowing for a household now to buy a house in the region of 300,000 is 240,000.
You see,
so that's
comparable.
Loan.
You say you can buy two houses for the price of one in Dublin, which is grand. Like if the house price is €300,000 or something in Waterford or the environs, but if the salary is 30,000, well, equally that's very difficult, isn't it?
It's all relative. Everything is relative. And, but it's interesting. I mean, in Waterford now at the moment, today on Daft, there's only 10 properties over the 600,000 price bracket advertised on Daft. But the average asking price in County Waterford is 255,000. But that doesn't mean that every house is sold for that price.
Yeah.
Like new homes we're selling in Abbey Meadows and Ferrybank and in Summerfields and Waterford are selling between 300 and 325,000 for a 3-bed A-rated home. And in some cases, because of the Affordable Home Scheme, they are actually getting equity stake by the government, which means in some cases, some people have bought the homes in the region of 205,000.
So there's a queue out the gate and down the road for those houses, Regina, is there?
They're doing very well. I mean, for our clients, we've hit nearly 72 homes this year for these affordable home sales, so they've gone very well. There's a few extra loops for buyers because obviously they have to qualify and all of that, but it's worth it in the end, you know.
It is, but
these schemes are important.
It's so deflating when you go to view a house, and I have spoken with so many people who turn up at a viewing and they see what seems to be hundreds of people viewing the house, and they all look quite serious.
Well, we're not seeing that in Waterford, hundreds of people, but I can tell you for the second homes market, some of the properties have huge demand. I mean, you could have anything from 15 to 20 groups of people viewing and then end up with 5 or 6 bidders. And, now what we're seeing is actually an influx of non-Irish buyers such as Americans and Germans, particularly Americans, unusually looking at, like, for example, a 2-bed apartment that we'd on the market, and Americans looking for it as a second property. I think there's a lot of them quite worried with the administration at the moment, and they're hedging their bets.
Really? So they're buying up homes as holiday homes in Waterford. Is that it?
Absolutely. We've seen it in West Waterford here now, where we've had quite a number of Americans interested in a property. Now, as it happened, the local person paid the best price. So we were happier about that because it's great, because we need our local people in the area to find homes. Yeah. It's very important.
It's very dispiriting, and I know this on a number of fronts. In my part of the country originally, in the Gaeltacht in Connemara, I know there's a movement of young people in various Gaeltachtaí who are saying that the Gaeltacht is dying because people who speak the language, who grew up there, can't buy a house or can't build a house in the Gaeltacht. Yet and this is replicated in non-Gaeltacht areas as well, there are empty homes right throughout the winter. And they point to holiday homes and the point you're making. Are you finding, talking to colleagues, that that's a problem in other areas as well?
It is. I mean, we had this particular 2-bed apartment, to give you as an example. It was a first-time buyer looking for the property, and an American, as it happens, the first-time buyer got the property, and they were crying when we rang them, and we're saying to the owner, look, we're at the price now, you're absolutely thrilled with it, let's sell it to the homeowner, and he agreed. So, I think as agents, if we have the opportunity to steer the seller to the homeowner, if they're happy with the price and they've done really well, I think it's important.
Yeah. There's no end in sight, is there? And I know there was a recent report which suggested that house prices were overpriced by 10% or so, but they're increasing at a rate of 10%, and that's not likely to stop, is it, given that demand is so high?
Well, the issue is supply is on the floor. So right now, at the moment, Cormac, we have 20% less stock on the market, according to DAF, than this time 2 years ago. And compared to the COVID times, our stock levels are down 60%. So it's a supply and demand. We've got a growing population. We've an influx of other people into the country who want to buy properties, and people who are moving to Ireland to help service our hospitals and our, so we need more homes, and it does need to be speeded up. It's quite a really, really big problem now. And the residential rental market is also adding to the dilemma of the whole situation.
Really? Do you see much in the pipeline there in Waterford, Regina?
In terms of the rental market?
No, sorry, in terms of general houses, new homes coming on stream.
Yes, we're seeing new homes coming on stream. It is going to take time. I mean, look, the government are saying they're building 30,000 homes a year, but the experts are saying we need 50 to 60,000. There's a lot of roadblocks in terms of finishing homes and getting electricity and water and all of that. So things that really do need to be speeded up. I think there needs to be, more progression in how they turn these properties around. It is a big concern. Okay. I know myself, we have a vacant property in Tramore that's coming to market. It's going to take 3 months for the electricity to get connected. So when you're dealing with those kind of roadblocks, that's another, I suppose, home that's sitting empty that could have a family living there instead of having it empty.
That's a cause of frustration for an awful lot of people. Can I ask you one final question, though? And it's in relation to your own business. It's a great business to be in at the moment, isn't it? I mean, you must be skipping to work every day.
We love what we do. We love it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a job where we're bringing happiness to people, where they're getting their home. And some people aren't going to be happy, obviously, when they miss out on a property.
Well, it's Celtic Tiger stuff for you, isn't it?
Not really, because if you think about the stock levels, we've got 53 agents in the city and the county, and everybody is looking to sell the same level of stock, so it's it is an issue. And the biggest issue is for the sellers and for the buyers, because we've got sellers who want to downsize, who are in a property that's too big for them. Then we have families that are outgrown homes, but they've nowhere to move to. So it's a chicken and egg. That's the biggest issue, that people can't right size at the moment. Okay.
Look, we'll leave it there at the moment, but we will talk quite soon again, because this is a story that is not going away for sure. Regina Mangan, Managing Director of Liberty Blue Estate Agents in Cunday, Fort Lauderdale. Gurmail Mahagad.